Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, I go by the name of Caution, Mr. 700. Give myself the normal round of applause for myself there. It's always good to clap yourself up. This is another episode of Allova Radio, brought to you in part by Allova Media, currently located here at Podcast Suites in Dallas, Texas. I have two illustrious guests, two men who are, I want to say Renaissance men, man. They do a little bit of everything. So first I'll go with comedian, rapper, producer, my man Alexander K. How you doing today?
All right, Alexander K. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you coming out. This is my first time meeting this man as well, so I don't want people feeling like I'm showing favors. This is my first time talking to this man, so appreciate him coming out to the studio. And to your left,
thanks for having me.
Oh, definitely. We got actor, writer, ex-rapper, PayDay, a.k.a. Mr. Mike Danielson himself. How you doing today, man?
What's up, man?
Oh, man, everything's good,
Thanks for having us out.
Definitely, man.
A.k.a. Picture Day.
Right. Hold on, let me show y'all some of these in the camera real quick, man. This is what we working with. My man is a jack of all trades, okay? He even got his own cup. Show him the cup, bro. You don't bring shit like this and don't show it off. Let me get a zoom.
Side, but wait, I got another side, too. Flip it over, and then you got that.
Hey.
It's all me, all over.
Oh man, so just for the people that don't know, let people know how you all know each other and how you all's relationship started.
Well, you want me to? Yeah. Basically, I'll tell you how I met PayDay. Like, I used to be involved with a rap group here in Dallas called the Slump Masters.
Bombs for the Slump Masters.
Slump Masters, man, and we had a studio. Where was the studio located?
Kind of TL Boulevard, 635.
Yeah, behind Texas Instruments. Yeah,
gotcha. It used to be in Hamilton Park. Okay. Kind of both places.
So I also knew another kind of rap crew called the Secret Menaces.
Okay.
And
you gonna bring up the picture thing?
Yeah, PayDay was doing some photo art for them. Some Photoshop art for them. For album cover or whatever. And they wanted I wasn't in that group, but I did like a lot of production and rapped on that album. So they wanted me on the album cover.
Gotcha.
So at the last minute, he was like, "Yo, I need to get a picture of you, man. This picture was dark as hell. I'm already black as hell. You know what I'm saying?"
Well, tell the whole story. So they told me we're gonna have our homeboy Keith come through, get on a picture and stuff, and we were doing it in a hallway, and it had fluorescent lighting. It's not great anyways.
Right.
We didn't have professional lighting, and he walked in the door, and I was like, man, we're gonna need a lot more light. I said, we may need to go outside. We need some sunshine for this. That ain't gonna work. And even with the sunshine, still didn't work.
Right.
Yeah, I straight that bright. I never made anything so bright. It was like full brightness.
Listen, I go through that myself, my brother. Don't worry about it. I understand. You know what I'm saying?
It's all good.
Now, so get into and I'll take it one at a time to keep it as fairly simple as I can for the people out there. But let's talk about you as a comedian. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to watch some of your videos, man. Shout out to you for one, because the one thing I will say is that a lot of comedians, especially ones that are up and coming or ones that people don't know, a lot of them aren't funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's a struggle to get. Sometimes they have moments, but it's a struggle to get to those moments. And I can say I genuinely enjoyed what I saw from you, man. So talk about how good you went from an artist, producer to the comedian. I may be skipping some steps, but we'll backtrack. But I just want to know how you got into that.
Well, how I got into comedy was like, it started, I kind of always wrote little jokes on Facebook.
Right.
I always wrote. I used to do this thing called After the Haircut Talk.
Nice.
And what it was like after I get a haircut, I might get on my phone and write, "Hey, I just caused a 3-car accident. Your mom can't stop looking at me,"
Right.
And then I put After the Haircut Talk right after it, and I just started doing stuff like that. And people was like, "Man, it's pretty funny." But I was just bullshitting,
Right.
And then at work, at my job, it was these group of ladies, I would just sit around and tell them stories.
Right.
Or reenact how stuff happened. Like if an incident happened at work, I'd be like, "Yeah, it was like this," and and I do the whole act. And they would be laughing.
Right.
So one lady was like, "Man, you're funny. You need to do something with that," And I was like, I didn't know what she meant at the time. I wasn't even paying attention.
Right.
Well, then a couple years down the line, COVID hit. Everybody was just like, man, I broke up with a woman that I truly loved. You know what I'm saying? And I was depressed. You know what I'm saying? And it was like to the point where it was hard for me to get out of bed, a lot of things, you know?
Right.
And I remember one day I just took a walk down the street to the store, and I heard these guys talking. They were like, yeah, this bar right here, they do open mic comedy on Monday. Mm-hmm. They weren't even talking to me. They were talking amongst themselves. And then I was like, oh, really? And I was like, hey, man, I know you're not talking to me, but you said this bar does open mic comedy? They were like, yeah. So I went home, I called, and they were like, yeah, we do it, it starts at 7. Mm. I wrote a 5-minute set right then and there.
Sheesh.
And practiced it, and then I called PayDay. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to do comedy. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm coming.
Nice.
So he came, my first set, I did my 5 minutes, and he sat in the crowd, and he was like, man, you were good. Mm-hmm. This is the things you need to work on, like pinpoint it, you know what I mean?
Right.
I just kept going back, and then I started finding other places to go. Mm-hmm. And then PayDay was just, like he'll go with me and start working the room, like, hey man, this is my man Alexander K, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
shout out to you for that, my brother. People don't understand how important that is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's a big fucking deal. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I told PayDay, I was like, man, I don't have money, bro, but you gotta be my manager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no way around it.
No way around it. Like, you doing a lot for me as it is, man. Let's just do this teamwork thing, and like, we really help each other out. It's not like, not like he's doing everything for me and I'm not contributing or whatever. It's like,
but don't get it twisted. He does 90% of his own work. It's not like I do everything. I mean, he books a lot of his own shows. I work with like just getting him in with people. You know what I mean? Like getting him on podcasts, like we just got on this. You know what I mean?
What would you say you, as a friend and also as a person that was there in the crowd to see him, what would you say you seen in him that was like, damn, bro, you got this?
I saw the same thing. I rapped with him for 20 years.
Gotcha.
So he already had stage presence. He already had delivery, and it with music it's a lot of the same thing as comedy. And what we're learning too with comedy, like you've been a lot of the like open mic rap things, it's the exact same thing. So like 90% of the people in the crowd are other comedians,
That's true. That is true.
So he had it. I mean, from the minute I was like, bro, you got it. It's just you got to work on this, and this. You know what I mean?
What would you say is different about it as opposed to anything else you've ever done? Like, how's your approach to comedy different than your approach as an artist?
Well, really, like, okay, so I'll put it this way. When I was writing rhymes, like, I didn't want to just say anything.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if I had to write a rap about, like, someone's shirt being blue, I wanted a whole different approach to the rap.
Gotcha.
Than just saying, hey, that shirt is blue.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I take that with jokes. I take that with jokes. Like, and I don't really tell jokes. I tell stories.
That's what I got from you from watching.
Yeah, I tell stories, and I like maybe something may have happened or I heard about something, and I take bits and pieces of things and I add them to a story and build the story. And
makes it more relatable too as a person listening. Like if you hear stories, like damn, I've been through that.
Right. And like like even in rap, like callbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like when you writing a rhyme, like I thought it like De La Soul had like they used to have like these rhymes to where like they would have like this 2 or 3 bars that kind of like didn't rhyme, and then all of a sudden, boom,
come right back to you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to do with my jokes. Like I'm trying to build these stories and then like take something out of place, then at the end bring it back and it's like
to it.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So
that's kind of like, and not to say that your approach came from anywhere, but that's kind of one of those things I like about Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
like Dave Chappelle will start at one point and then he'll kind of play around somewhere to kind of get your attention, and then he'll come back around with the whatever it is. I think the ability to do that is tough because both instances of what you're saying have to make sense and they have to be fucking funny.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and Dave Chappelle is rooted a lot in hip hop too. Like he used to have, everybody from coming through Taylor Kweli, whoever.
Listen, one of my favorite films It's the Dave Chappelle's Block Party. That's one of my favorite films. I'm a huge Chappelle fan. Comedy in general. I'm a stand-up guy, so a lot of the people from, people don't understand stand-up comics and just comedians are sometimes different. Like actor comedians and things like that are a different type of ball game.
Right.
So it's not a lot of Richard Pryors and people like that were funny on both mediums. You get like the Kevin Hart's that's really only funny in movies to me. I don't do a lot of Kevin Hart stand-up anymore because he doesn't seem as funny to me as he,
Charlie Murphy was good both ways.
I like Charlie Murphy as well. He was another one, another storyteller as well, though. He was always great at telling stories. So,
usually about Eddie.
Right, that's true. Though. Listen, if you live that life, though, I guess that kind of comes with the territory when you Eddie Murphy's older brother. Now I do see that you do, some extensive work with the Bodega Brothers. Shout out to them.
Oh yeah.
Kind of talk about like your involvement with that and how what's your role there, because they spoke of you as like an official affiliate of it and all that. So like kind of detail some of your work with them and.
Well, shout out to Head Crack, Keynote, Trav out of 7, all my brothers, man. Basically, man, me and Trav, we actually used to be in a group.
Okay.
We were in a rap group called The Menu. Okay. Way back. And then, things happened. We kind of broke out, but me and Trav have always been cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? And years down the line, Trav told me that he was working with Head Crack. And I was like, okay, that's dope, And like, I've always ran into Head Crack, been super cool with Head Crack, whatnot. And I started, before COVID or whatever, I started shooting a lot of music videos for artists. Okay. At first, it was just like an experiment thing. And then it was like, I was like getting real good at it. And I was like, all right, cool, And Trav, I told Head Crack what I was doing. He was like, oh yeah, tell him we want him to shoot a music video for us. Nice. So I was like, cool. So I shot a music video for us. It went for him. It went well. So all of a sudden, one day I'm just chilling. And I get a text from Head Crack. And he's like, hey man, you want to come to LA? I'll pay you. I'll get your plane ticket. I need you to come out here and document the weekend. I was like, yeah.
Sign me up, bro. That's the kind of shit we sit and wait to do.
Yeah, so I got on the plane. Head Crack took care of all my expenses, man, and went out there, shot footage, and I got to meet like who did I meet?
Kool Keith, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a Kool Keith show.
Man, shout out to Kool Keith.
I met Mad Lion was there. Who else was there?
Was Snoop Lion there?
Who?
Snoop Lion?
No, Snoop Lion was not there.
Transition.
But it was a lot of just like heroes, like rap heroes that I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm in this room. You know what I mean? And I met a lot of good people and made a lot of connections and then came back. And then after that, it was just kind of like, I remember Head Crack did a show in Denton. The Bodega Brothers did a show in Denton. It
was Pudge's birthday party, Pudge Brewer.
Okay. Yeah, and I got on stage with them to record, like to get some footage. And Head Crack was like, yeah, y'all shout out to the Bodega Brothers. He said my name included. And he was like, yeah, we're a family. I was like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. I guess that's what made it official. And so what I do for him is pretty much like, I do a lot of artwork for them. If you ever see like their podcasts and you see like the when they want to make like a Instagram commercial, I put those together pretty much. Gotcha. Yeah. I just do a lot of behind the scenes stuff for them. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope, man. Shout out to you for that.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And just to let people know, thevillainofcomedy.com is your website, right?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Go
sir.
there to see anything you got upcoming, anything you got going. I'll make sure I include the link at the bottom of the screen so people can see it and in the description as well, man. As far as the producer route, like how, they spoke highly of you as a producer. So, what goes, how long have you been doing that?
Well, like any producer, I started out rapping. I'm from Oklahoma City. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Oklahoma.
And at the time, it wasn't nobody making beats the way I wanted to hear them, the way I heard them. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I knew some guys that had equipment or whatever, and I used to be like, man, if I could just get my hands on something, right, I'm gonna build. You know what I mean? And my first piece of equipment, I bought a Insonic EPS from somebody on an ad, and I bought it, went home, practice, and it kept overheating. It kind of just blew up on me. You know what I'm saying? Right. So then my next equipment after that was a MPC 2000. And I made beats on that forever, and then transitioned into Fruity Loops and all those programs or whatnot. But I've been doing it for a while. I still kind of make beats now, but it's kind of like not what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah.
Yeah. It was one of the best parts about our rap group was that he was our in-house DJ.
So you got one already there. You ain't got to go searching for one. That's a fact, though. That's a hard thing to come by, especially somebody dedicated to what you're doing specifically. But that's a great transition, though, Mr. PayDay. Let people know, like, who you are, man. Tell them who you are, how long you've been into it, because, you know, a lot of people may have known you as a rapper, but I think, and a lot of this, I'm a music guy. I think that's kind of obvious, but I think
that's what I told him. I said there'd be a lot of music talk, even though we don't really do it anymore.
Right, exactly. But I think the best part about it is I do a show called Life Behind Bars, right? So I do kind of a detail into things that don't have anything to do with the actual music. So, you know, you speak to engineers and producers and, you know, videographers, people that kind of are behind the music to kind of talk about things that go on that the normal eye wouldn't see or know anything about.
Okay.
I think a good conversation in music has to be everybody doesn't finish their lives out just rapping only. As a rapper, and I'm specifically talking about, I don't know about R&B singers, I don't know about country singers, folk, blues, all that shit. I don't know nothing about that. But I know in hip hop, it has a lifespan.
Yeah.
And so when that catches up to you, I think a lot of people need to know that you can transition into something else and still be a success and still be as fulfilled as you are as an artist. It doesn't just have to be as a rapper. And so I think that this conversation for me is geared more towards that as opposed to just like, man, how long were you rapping, or you know, what was your first album about? I think all that shit is cool, but I think your story is interesting because not only are you in a different phase of your life now, but you've had different things you've done along the way. So I kind of want to talk about how you transition from, you know, being a rapper in the age where rapping was everything as to where you are now. Like what, you know, was it just a growing thing, or like how did you transition into what you're doing now?
Like how I stopped rapping?
Yeah, like what came about to made you feel like I got to stop and do something else?
Well, I'm married. I've been married 21 years.
Ooh, shout out to you. I know I told you that in the message.
3 daughters. So,
shout out to you for that as well. That same year, 3 daughters, less years married, but 3 daughters though.
So you know how music life is. You know, always on the road, always doing things, doing a lot of things. You know, whatever that don't constitute keeping your wife
family
happy.
life.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. I was never home. You know what I mean? So I shut it all down at one point, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna rap anymore. I started going to church.
Right.
I actually started a Christian rap magazine called The Message Magazine.
Oh, that's dope.
And I used to have Lecrae, Tadashi, if you know any of those people. I used to have all of them in the magazines. I had them write their own articles.
Oh,
that was
dope.
like my idea behind it was they're all, you know, preachers. So if you want to preach and you want to preach the word, write the word in my magazine. So I didn't have to hire any writers.
Right. They come in and write their own.
Yeah, so that was dope. I did that for a while, and I did that for 3 years, but it didn't make a lot of money because churches don't really want to pay a lot of times.
That's
ads.
a fact.
Yeah. Amen.
Right.
So, but I wasn't doing anything creative. I mean, the magazine was cool, but like when I rapped, that's, you know how it is. When you're a creator, you want to create. And I had no creative outlet whatsoever. And so he hit me up when I think I'd been in one movie at that point, but he hit me up. We started a sketch comedy show called PayDay Plays.
Yeah. Nice.
And I was like, I'd play every character. And it was cool with me because I was getting stuff for my demo reel, but me and him were working together again. We hadn't worked together since music. You know,
reconnecting the dots.
Yeah, and that's my family. I mean, 20 years we've been together, you know, and it's just, we weren't being creative. And then when we got into doing that, it opened it back up. And now I've been, you know, in 5 different movies.
Nice.
2 of J. Rhodes movies. I mean, nice. It's a Wonderful Play.
That's what I was going to get to next, man. That's perfect. How is that though? How is being an actor, and not only being an actor, but being in specific roles where that may not be something that you were even like considering? Like, how is that process?
Like being a cop?
Yeah.
When I used to run from the cops?
Right. Like, hey, I want you to play a cop, and then they go back and listen to your music, and it's fuck the police. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it to?
Well, Jay knows me. That's how Jay gets me from all this stuff. I've known Jay with music. He did one of our members' entire album. Like, him and Dog Wonder did an entire album. He knows me from music. I think a lot of that is he needs like racists for a lot of the things, and he's like, PayDay looks like a racist, call him.
Right. I need to know somebody that's not a racist to play this role.
Exactly.
Though. Yeah. Right.
And we have, you know, it's an understanding. Everybody knows I'm not a racist.
Right. Of course.
That's my brother. So I mean, it's just, but I can help I don't know, propel that
right. You can you can convey that. A look is a look. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just one thing. Perception is everything. Right. So to see somebody and kind of dress them up a certain way, I think
Jay's movies are so powerful.
Exactly. That's where I was going as far as his type of movies, because It's a Wonderful Plight, and then even the one that you all are working on now. Those are very like strong. You know, as far as like the theme of the movie. So like, how does it feel to be in those type of movies, and like what emotions do they evoke?
It feels good to me, because I mean, the first movie, It's a Wonderful Plight, was all about allies, about what can white people do, because we have privilege. Whether I grew up in the worst area of Houston, and I can say, I didn't have no privilege. I did. You know what I mean? We used to pop tags, right?
And
so me and one of my best friends is Vietnamese. My other two best friends was a Mexican dude and a black dude. We'd go to the mall, Sharpstown Mall. I don't know if you know where that's at. Paul Wall has a shop in there and everything. It's a ghetto-ass mall. I mean, it's like the Houston ghetto-ass mall. It's like down the block from my house. We'd go in, me and the Asian dude dressed all nice, wear polo shirts. We walk in and we stole everything. My other two boys go in there with like jerseys and act the ass, and they didn't take nothing, but they followed them around, didn't even look at us. That's privilege. You know what I mean? So I understood that early on. You know what I mean? We've been in the car drinking beer, and the cops will come up and start shit with all them, but I'm in the car, I'm like, bro, and they're like, oh, okay, it's all right. That's privilege. You know what I mean? So I figured being in those movies, I can help be an ally actively. You know what I mean?
Rather than something that you know well. Also, just being an actor in general. I mean, I know, and I had this conversation with somebody recently where they said being a rapper helps. And I think somebody famous even said it. Being a rapper helps being an actor, because there's a lot of lying that goes into being a rapper. So talk about that, like as far as like remembering lines and like what to do, like if you have to like evoke a certain emotion at a certain time, like how did you come about being able to do that? Like,
I ad-lib a lot of my stuff. I mean, and usually everybody I work with is pretty cool with that, because I mean, like memorizing like word for word, it comes off like you're reading a piece of paper. And just like when you're rapping, if you read that thing in front of the mic and you're like, hey, I'm gonna come down, you know, whatever.
It sounds like
that. It sounds like it. But when you remember it and you kind of change the words up and it just flows, it's the same thing with the movie. It just kind of flows. Like I let the lines just flow. You know
That's a fact, man. That's dope work. What's your favorite role that you've played so far?
Probably the cop. Just now. The cop? Yeah, it was dope.
Gotcha.
I mean, the whole process. I mean, watching Jay make a movie, dude.
Them scenes look. I mean, from the pictures that you post, the scenes look intense. They all look very. You know, I hate when I see a movie like somebody doing a movie and I look at the behind the scenes and I don't really feel nothing by it. I think looking at you all's pictures, seeing like the work that you all are putting in, that's a big deal, man. So shout out to y'all for that.
And so I popped up the other day. I'm not even in a scene, and I was just like, let me help out. I brought a jersey. They needed a Dallas Mavericks jersey for a scene, and I borrowed one from a friend. Brought it up there. I said, can I just hang out? And so I was helping him hold lights, do all kind of stuff, just to be a part of it.
Dope.
Yeah, just watching him work is amazing.
I like to add, man, Jay Rose, if you listen to this, man, I really appreciate how you're painting a different narrative with your movies.
Round of applause.
Like, I ain't gonna say nothing, but it's a lot of Dallas hood movies, man.
Man, that's all it seems to be.
We don't need that.
Everything on Tubi.
And I'll be on those too. Shout out Tubi.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
If that's what you do your thing, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like a breath of fresh air, like fresh creativity, man. And Jay Rose is like really upping it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
because I think in a big part of movies when it comes to black directors or just, movies that come from that mindset, it's representation.
Yeah. Well, and Jay has a passion for his people.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
And even in his music, though, he's always been that way. So to see him transforming into a visual form and really push these messages even further than just the music is a huge deal. So, what kind of roles would you like to play, though? Like, what are you interested in playing going forward? Like, what would be your ideal role right now if somebody brought it to you and laid the script on the table?
That's a good question, man. I didn't even think that through.
I know, man. I tried, bro. I try to do my thing.
Maybe an ex-rapper, current realtor, something like that.
I think, and that would be something. You know what I would think, and this is something I was thinking about earlier, is because like I told you, I like to do a deep dive and kind of look into anything that a person sends me, what I can find on social media. I think I could see you having like a FX series that falls in line of like Dave or Atlanta or
he wanted to do that originally,
bro. That in my mind, I kept seeing it like this guy is so fucking funny. But I think if you were able to kind of take your story and tell it the way that you tell it, man, that shit would be dope. So I did want to ask you like, what would be your ideal role though? Because that's something that I
played a gangster. I played a neighbor taking care of the neighborhood. I played a racist doctor in one of J. Rhodes' videos. I played a sniper. I played. And then the police officer.
And you said you had 5 movies on your
there's 5
on your IMDb?
Yeah, there's 5 on there.
That's dope, man. Shout out to you for that as well.
Thank you. Let me mention one of them. Ridge Run 2. It just came out right now. Mm-hmm. It's streaming on Villainwood.
Okay.
So they offer like a thing right now. If you want to subscribe, you can get a month free and watch it. But it's got Ridge Run 1 and Ridge Run 2.
Nice.
And you know Skywalker?
Skywalker.
Chris Denman. He's a rapper.
The name Skywalker sounds familiar.
He's with the Flamingos or something. He has some kind of group right now. He's been around forever.
Oh, okay.
He's in that movie. He's also in King of Dallas with me. So.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like
cool.
I find out on a lot of these sets, a lot of the people are on all these movies.
It's the same people. Yeah. That's true as well.
Yeah. Which is dope. I mean, because I'm a gangster in one movie with the cop that I'm with, and then he's a cop with me in another movie. Oh shit.
Right. So I also see, man, that you're pretty close with, and I'm assuming it's both, but Ben and Skin.
Oh yeah.
I'm a huge fan of both of them, man. Like I don't know which one you know. I got a chance to meet.
Well, like we say close now. It was close probably about 10 years ago. Skin used to write the Dallas Morning News, the Dallas Quick. He had what do you call it? What was that called?
I don't know.
The disco something party soul. I don't know. But he put us in there. Okay. He put us in there like every week. He'd put like us in there, and we were nobody. You know, what I mean, there'd be like Steve Austin. It'd be like people actually like doing big stuff, and then he'd throw DDC in there. He'd throw me in there.
Nice.
And we had an album thing, and Skin was always dope like that. And we went to parties at Ben's house before, and Ben always had like because Ben used to rap too.
Yeah.
I actually I don't know if you remember Ben. I did a beat for Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he reached out for me, a beat tape from me a long time ago. I gave him some beats, and he was like, I like this one.
Oh, that's dope.
And have you been to their brewery?
No, and that's where I saw. I didn't know you all even knew each other until I saw when you did the video. Going, shout out to you for those videos, man. I don't know if you know, but like people watch that shit, bro. Like they do. Like people really watch it. And like I watch all of them just to kind of, it helps give me. I'm a visual guy, so like I can run 1,000 podcasts audio only, but I would prefer to get a visual because I know it kind of draws people in, and like that's where I saw it. I got a chance to meet Ben, or was it Skin?
Ben's the big one.
So it's Skin then.
Yeah.
I met Skin at a listening party for Flower Child.
Okay.
It was at my guy OZ's studio in Dallas, Element Sound Studio. So I got a chance to meet him.
He's a dope producer, man.
I told him, man, I said, listen, I was a huge fan of you. I do a sports, we do a sports show. That's a podcast. I just kind of, broke it down to him, and he was super cool. Got to take a picture with him, all that kind of shit. So great guy. And I seen that. I was like, man, that's dope. I'm gonna ask him about it when I see him.
Yeah. So I hadn't seen them in probably 10, 15 years, but I talked to them on social media. I mean, everybody.
That's where it is. If you talk you've talked.
Were you on DFW Hip Hop? Okay, you were? That's how I know them. And Headcrack was on there. Headcrack used to press up all my CDs when I was on there.
Nice.
Like, I mean, we all had like a tight-knit community, just like with the comedian things I was saying.
Right.
And so, I just showed up, popped up. I saw they had a satellite show at their brewery, and he did a comedy show at their brewery, so I'd been there before.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I just walked in. I didn't say I'm coming, nothing. And they were selling their record that they put out. Ben had an album called Grown that he put out, like an LP. And I walked in, he just stopped what he was doing. He was like, dog. And I was like, oh, you actually remember me. He's like, dog, he told my kid, he said, we're a fan of your dad's work.
Nice.
Not my rapping, because I'm not that great at rapping. He was talking about my social media presence and just how I push everything.
Oh, yeah.
Shit is a big deal, bro. It's a big deal. I think, especially now, because social media seems like a young person's game. You know what I'm saying? And so
you're saying I'm old, is what you're saying.
Listen, I'm saying we all are. Okay, my knees hurt when I get up to get out of here too. So, but I think if you're successful at doing social media, you've accomplished something. Especially if you're older in age, because it's not really geared for us to be successful on. Like nobody's checking for you over 30 on social media.
And what it is with real estate, there's nobody doing it.
It's not.
I walked in and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you can do that." They thought there's no way nobody's gonna buy a house from me or hire you for anything if you do this. I'm just trying to get people's attention. Like I do all this, I do that. I put myself on Indiana Jones. It gets their attention,
and then I draw you in.
Yeah, then I give them my value proposition. I said, "This is what I can do." I was like, "You saw me obviously on social media do that. Think about how quick I'm gonna sell your house."
That's true, man. I film a podcast for a guy. Shout out to Weston Kirk. He does a podcast. He's a real estate agent. He works for EXP Realty, I believe. Yeah. And so they do a weekly podcast where they talk about different stuff that goes on in real estate and things like that. And so like doing that, I kind of like, I don't know, I guess it drawed me to what you do, because it's like what they want to do is what you're already doing, which is have content outside of a podcast that draws people to the business, but it also gets social media traction. So I was like, damn, he's already doing that.
And I'm going to do the reverse of that, because I'm going to start a podcast. He's going to help me shoot it. It'll be called Don't Do It Alone, because that's my motto. I would say, if you want to buy or sell a home, don't do it alone. So it's called Don't Do It Alone, but it's not going to be real estate specific. It's gonna be. I know so many. I know you, music people. I know comedy people. I know acting people.
And that's where you're gonna get them, man.
And it's gonna be all that different stuff.
Yeah.
But I'll mention real estate. They know I do real estate. You know, I don't have to put real estate down people's.
Nah, but the tie-in is dope because it's like if you watching it and you are looking for a home, you know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Damn, I just had a great time watching this shit, and they can sell me a house. Like, let me go follow this motherfucker, see who he is and what he's talking about. So I think that's dope, man.
That's what entertaining people adds value, just like anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And y'all are doing a great job, bro. Like, shout out to y'all for all of that, man. A lot of times people send you stuff and they're like, man, check out what I'm doing, or they like, before we do the podcast, I want you to see search it, and you look and just be like, oh my god, like what are we finna talk about?
Think about it, as rappers, how many people send you raps and like, oh, listen to my friend rap, and it's horrible. You know, it's
especially having a podcast about music. Like I didn't always work at this studio, so like I used to come here and pay to be here to film and do podcasts and interview rappers. So you can imagine I come here and pay an hourly rate. I bring my cameras. I got a cameraman more than likely, and I get in here and you don't have nothing to talk about, or you know what I'm saying. You don't have. So I just spent money for you to waste my fucking time. So that's one thing that I learned, and like I stopped doing my own interviews for that very reason. Like that's why I transitioned into doing, like I had maybe like 4 or 5 podcasts I was executive producing. And so I was doing that to kind of avoid having to interview people but then I got to a point where all the podcasts I was doing, they were having guests to people that wasn't talking about shit. So it felt like I was in that cycle again. So it was like, man, let me stop this, and kind of go back to what it's about, which is networking, maybe branding, amending brands to be able to kind of say, hey, this is an outlet as well for people to see what you're doing and kind of drawing shit as well. So I appreciate y'all coming out, man. I really do, man. Seriously though, this is a huge deal. I really just started doing them again. Like I really just started running the All Over Radio series again. So this is like the 3rd episode I filmed in the past like month or so. You know what I'm saying?
You know we'll push the shit out of it.
Oh man, listen, I'm happy to have y'all on, and like let people know where they can find you all, social media, all that greatness.
Well, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me at Villain Alex K or Comedian Alexander K. I have 2 pages. I got a lot of pages though, for different things that I do, but those are the main 2. You find those 2 pages. Facebook also, Alexander K Comedian or Comedian Alexander K. Have 2 pages there. TikTok, Comedian Alexander K. Also my website. Anything you want to know about me it's going to be on my website, thevillainofcomedy.com.
Gotcha. And man, what you got coming up, man? Let them know anything you got coming.
March 18th. March 18th, I got a big show, Hyenas Fort Worth. Please visit the website. I got a crazy lineup.
Only $10 for tickets.
Only $10 for tickets.
With some big people, big comedians.
Yeah. I may have to come out and bring the cameras, man. Let me see what that's about.
We're trying to sell out the first show so we can get so we can have like a 2 time slot.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So we're getting close at selling out that first show. So then we can have a late show. But yeah, March 18th, St. Patty's Day weekend, man. Y'all check us out. The lineup is crazy. The lineup is crazy. Let me, I got Corey Cherry. Corey Cherry's he just filmed a comedy special here in Dallas, and he's been making some noise, man. He's a real funny comedian. One thing I like about Corey Cherry is like he's like all over. Like he talks about political issues. Then he'll go back to talking about his girlfriend, his family. Just very creative. You know what I'm saying? Then we got my man Mark Few. Mark Few is a dope comedian. He's like very good at like playing with the crowd.
Gotcha.
Very good at playing off the crowd. We also got JJ Woods out of Oklahoma City. JJ Woods, funny guy. I've done a couple of shows with him. Rush, my man Rush, doesn't hold back. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you, whatever he's gonna say is funny, but he don't care.
Gotcha.
He doesn't.
And these aren't all Dallas comics.
I was about to say these are all. Okay.
Yeah, Rush is from Oklahoma. Also, like I said, Mark Few is from Louisiana. He's from Shreveport, Louisiana. And then we have my host, which is Ashley Watson. Very beautiful, very funny. You want to, guys, y'all gonna want to come check her
who
out.
Oddly enough is also a mortgage lender.
Yeah, she's a mortgage
lender. So we started bonded on that.
Right.
And then I'm your headliner, Alexander K, and I'm going to PayDay some shit.
Well, shout out to you for bringing out a lineup of local and surrounding area, comics and things like that as well. PayDay, how about yourself, man? Let them know where they can find you. And
you can find me. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, you can find me anywhere on social media at Mike Danielson Realtor. I have TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. MySpace, whatever.
Everywhere.
You know what I mean? I'm everywhere. But
So
I also
Google me.
Yeah, you can Google me, Mike Danielson. Everything's gonna show up. I mean, the acting, the comedy, you know, the real estate, all of it. Real estate's my passion. Acting's also my passion. I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't think there's like a creative outlet in real estate, but there is. Because I could push the same things I do with the acting with the real estate.
Pushing
you know
out
what I mean?
through there, gotcha.
Yeah. And so I also have PayDay plays on all social media and Southwest PayDay. We're from the school of like when MySpace was out, I had 8 MySpace pages. I was my own top 8. You know, so it was PayDay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I mean, I know social media, like you said. Just, I push the hell out of everything.
Playing them algorithms, man.
Yeah.
You got to.
And then if you want to buy or sell a home, don't do it alone. Call me 972-880-4105. I'll answer the phone at any time. Like 7-Eleven, I'm open 24/7.
Facts. Let them know, bro. That's what it's about. Availability. Okay, let me reach out to you and you fucking answer.
Yeah.
I don't know voicemails or no text messages or emails.
I have people text me 2 o'clock in the morning, like about a property, and I'll just be up like screwing around with social media, and I'll actually answer, and they're like, "I was just sending for you to check that tomorrow." I'm like, "Nah, I already checked it." They're like,
so
"Damn,
here it
you're
go.
on it." Yeah, I stay on it.
And I know you talked about the podcast, and we got the movie. Anything else you want to kind of put out there that's coming up for you as well?
King of Dallas should be out.
Shout out to King of Dallas.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope. Ridge Run 2 is out right now, and I mean, on the acting front, that's pretty much all I got, other than just working with him and getting his stuff out. You know?
Gotcha, man. Well, hopefully, y'all keep me in tune, man. That way we can at least talk about anything y'all got coming out. If you want to remind me about the comedy show, we'll throw that up on a few shows and promo it and shit like that.
Oh,
to show
yeah,
love.
yeah, appreciate
You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff, man. I want to really kind of, help you all kind of push the brand a little bit to kind of get that more out there. And, what helps you helps me. So I'm all for that, man. I definitely appreciate y'all coming out, man. Again, this is Caution, Mr. 700. I always like to give myself a round of applause.
West side,
you know what I'm saying?
West side.
Listen, people ask me where I'm from, but I put the 700 in my name so I could always say it every time I announce myself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the funny thing about where I'm from, A-Leaf, that's what we do. Have you ever heard of Toby from the SWAT?
Uh-huh.
He's from the SWAT. Mo
okay,
Hammer's from the SWAT.
I got you.
And that's what we do. We always do that because it's Southwest. So we do West.
I always wonder why he did that.
That's what it is. It's Southwest.
I'm learning a lot about that, man. Somebody told me he went to TCU the other day, and I was a little bit confused. I was like, did he?
That I don't know. Funny story. Do you have time for a funny story?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I went to what was that? I forgot what it's called. It's a local music festival. Jambalaya. Okay,
Jambalaya.
Went to Jambalaya. Trey the Truth was there. He's from my neighborhood also. And so, like, there aren't that many people from A-Leaf. So if you throw up the West, they're like,
yeah.
So Toby was there, and I already knew about Toby's music. Not many other people there knew about Toby's music. And so I saw him and Fat. That's his wife. They were back there. I started doing like that in the crowd. He like pointed at me, and him and Fat are throwing up the West. And I go to the bathroom, and he's right there. I'm like, Toby. I'm like, bro. He's like, you from A-Leaf? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you went to Ollie? I said, I went to Hollywood. Yeah. So we went to the same middle school. We were just chopping it up. I said, man, I got to get a picture with you and Fat throwing up the West. He's like, all right. There was nobody there except,
Bebe.
Hey, Bebe. So Bebe's standing there, and I'm like, hey, I said, Bebe, can you take a picture of me and Toby real quick? He don't have no idea who Toby is.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, come here. And he's like thinking I want to take a picture with him. I'm like, no. I gave him my phone. I said, no, take a picture of me and Toby. And so I have a picture with me, Toby, and Fat, and Bebe took that picture.
Yeah.
And he was not happy with taking that picture, dog.
I would have took a selfie on your ass. I got something for you.
But it made Toby feel, man, you made me and wife feel so big.
That's a fact, man. Show some love where it's due. Everybody know who Bebe is already, bro. Chill.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. You had your moment.
He puts on for my hood. Mo Ammer, he came and did a comedy show here at Hyenas not too long ago. He didn't talk to nobody. He was walking off stage. I did like that. He walked up. He goes, you from A-Leaf? I'm like, yeah. He's like, where? I said, Boone Road. He said, man, I just shot my whole entire comedy special. Like his series that's on Netflix, he shot it on Boone Road where I'm from.
That's dope, man.
That's why this is my manager. He knows how to get to whoever, you know what I mean?
I'm telling you,
I know
that
how to break
shit
the
is
ice,
important. That breaking the ice
you gotta
is
find
huge.
a commonality. Yeah.
You can't have a manager that just fucking lingers around and looks and stares weirdly at somebody until they notice them staring. It's like, oh, I'm a manager. Let me come. Nah, you got to be engaging.
I walk in these comedy clubs and I work the room the minute. It's like I clocked in the second. I'm not getting paid, but I'm still clocking in.
That shit is as big as you being talented. Let me tell you, you can probably suck as a comic or a rapper and have a great manager.
I suck as a rapper, guaranteed. If you listen to my music, I'm not that great, but I got far enough because it's just off my hustle.
You are.
The grind is real.
That's a fact, man. So shout out to y'all, man. Again, Caution, Mr. 700, all over radio. Y'all have a good one.
All right, we appreciate it.
Appreciate that.